What's going on, guys? So, it's been just over a week since the conclusion of Ward Kovalev 2, right? And I decided to wait a little bit of time because I kind of wanted to just think about exactly how I felt about the stoppage, the fight, the future of these guys before I made a video so I could be really objective and honest about how I feel rather than be emotional one way or the other, right? People tend to do that, obviously, the night of the fight. I was drinking. I didn't say anything obscene. I did obviously talk about the low blows, which I still agree with, and I'll go more into the detail on that in a second. But I kind of wanted to really be honest about that, which I try to do on a lot of my videos, right? Be objective, be honest, and be cerebral in how I approach this, right? So let me just get to how, I'll break down the fight a little bit, how I saw it. Thought early on it was close. I thought Kovalev won a first, two out of the three first rounds, controlling with his jab. But Ward was more active. Then a little later in that fight, and I'm going to be honest, right? And actually, before I continue, I'll take Crow because I was wrong with my pick. I picked Kovalev, and also the right arm seemed to be a little better in this fight. Not to mention the one big right hand that he landed after Kovalev was hurt. But in general, he seemed a little more, I guess, willing to use it than he did in his first fight. But let me continue. So then Ward, as the fight continued, definitely won like the fourth round. Won the fourth round, and then a few of the middle, probably fourth, fifth, and sixth, right? I don't know about the sixth. I think actually Kovalev won the sixth, so he won two of those rounds. Like I said, a lot of those rounds are pretty close. But then in the seventh round, right, and throughout the fight, Ward was landing shots on the belt and below the belt, right? So borderline, yes, some blatant, right? Some blatant. Now, let me say one thing again, that you don't actually have to land where the testicles would be, because obviously the testicles is where you get injured. When you get a low blow, anybody who's ever been hit there obviously understands the pain. But with the cup, you could hit the cup and it could shift up, and depending where the cup sits, affect your testicles and affect that by getting close to it, by shifting it. So it doesn't have to land below the legs, uplifting into Kovalev's testicles for it to be injured. So Kovalev started hurting. Ward started taking over the fight. It really all started with a low blow, right? It started with a low blow, but then Ward continued to land good shots, good low shots, good shots to the head, obviously that big right hand. The seventh round is where he kind of took over the action. But I'm going to be honest, though, and people who are Kovalev fans need to be honest. Kovalev did not do the right thing when he was hurt. He did not hold. He did not try to land low blows back. Yes, no, the referee did not call those shots. And yes, a lot of those shots were illegal. But if Kovalev was as good as a lot of people believed he was, if he was a great fighter, not just a very good fighter, he would have been able to know what to do in those situations, right? But obviously the thing that bothered me, and we go into the next round, was the stoppage and when it was stopped and what shots led to be the stoppage, right? Now there's this image that's being photoshopped or used on the internet, right? About the uppercut. I think it was one of the three shots, maybe the last shot, right? So the fight ended in the eighth round. Three shots. They all seemed low to me. At least two of them did, right? Kovalev, was towered over. Kenny Bayless believed he wasn't protecting himself at all times. There's an argument made for that, but I've seen some Kenny Bayless fights where guys get way more fucked up. Kovalev's head wasn't really snapping back, but he was not fighting back. Like I said, he wasn't doing the right thing properly, and I understand the pain he must have been into with those low blows, but I think a great fighter perseveres even in the worst scenarios, right? So, having said that, like I said, there's this picture that shows where it's on the belt. He's laying in an uppercut, and they freeze it and they go, "Is this low blow? Is this where his nuts are?" And they have the picture of his nuts wherever the fuck. Watch that fucking clip, and they freeze frame it when the uppercut slightly moves above the belt line after starting really low. It's a retarded fucking clip. It makes absolutely no sense. But again, it's, people are irrational on both sides of this, right? So the stoppage, I think, was bad. I think it was obscene to end a fight on three. At least two of those shots were illegal. Regardless of what you see, this is my thing. This is what I'm trying to be objective, right? In one aspect, right? Kovalev, I think, proved in this fight that he was not an all-time great by not persevering in a situation that this happened. But Andre Ward won a fight in which he did some great things, right? Impressed me in some ways. But he won on illegal punches. That's a bottom line. So I just think that, he said, she said, and the truth is somewhere down the middle, right? So I just like it. I understand people are reacting one way or the other, acting like Kovalev's this victim, and to an extent he was a victim because the referee didn't do his job and they landed low blows. But to the other extent, if he was as good as those same people thought he would have persevered. But then on the other end is that the best fighter on earth, this man who had this big win, let's not pretend that he did not cheat and foul in that fight and land low blows. Now, I put more of the blame on the referee than I do on Andre Ward. But I put more of a blame, too, on fans who pretend that it's okay with the low blow when their fighter wins one way or the other. Like I said, I'm pretty sure those same people would be... I know it was more egregious. But what Galata did to Riddick Bowe, it was egregious. Like I said, not the same thing because they were much worse. But it just... You have to be honest about this. Now, I'll give you another example. The Victor Ortiz-Floyd Mayweather win. I wasn't very happy about that win, but it was legal. It was legal. In fact, Victor Ortiz was being a weirdo after he fouled Floyd Mayweather, headbutting him, and after he already had him, Floyd Mayweather took advantage of the situation. Legally. There was not anything illegal about it. You could say unsportsmanlike, but this is a combat sport where people die or have been, killed in the ring, and it's protect yourself at all times. So if I apply that to Kovalev's situation, right, in which shots were illegal, you cannot expect a referee to bail you out, especially when he said things like, going into the fight, I thought he established the fact that the referee was going to be against him. I thought he established the fact that the judges were going to be against him. So if Kovalev was an all-time great, he would have done those things to ensure his W. And clearly he didn't. He seemed to fade a little bit. Maybe some of those were low blows. Maybe some of it was the fact that he said that he wasn't going to train as hard because he overtrained in the first fight. I mean, Kovalev's always had gas tank issues. If you go back and watch some of his fights, you hear John David Jackson, even the Pascal fight, we'll take this round off, this round I'll you do. And yes, I have no problem with that. But when you fight a athletic, physical fighter like Andre Ward, to prove your greatness, you have to overcome that. And you have to be an extremely cardiovascular conditioned athlete. And I think, honestly, that Kovalev failed to do that. Now, going forward, right? I just hope that Kovalev... They're never fighting again, right? Never fighting again. It did about 130,000 pay-per-view buys, which at least I was right about that, right? That was my prediction on that was correct. Thank God I got something right about this fight. But hopefully he fights Adonis Stevenson. Hopefully that fight's going to be on Showtime or HBO, not pay-per-view, because they're not pay-per-view worthy fighters because of their, not to me, obviously the quality is pay-per-view worthy, but the quality is not the mainstream, doesn't get the mainstream pull that obviously encourages pay-per-view sales to happen. So I think that's going to happen in that scenario. Now, with Andre Ward, who says he's going to cruiserweight to heavyweight, right? I actually don't think he fights at cruiserweight. I think he fights at heavyweight. And who does he fight at heavyweight? I think it's going to be Tony Bellew. And Tony Bellew, a fighter who was stopped by Adonis Stevenson, who's coming off a big win against David Haye, is that money fight for him. He could go to the UK if that's worthy of him. I think it's a winnable fight for him. Obviously, it's definitely a winnable fight for him. But I don't see him. I really don't see Andre. I mean, the heavyweight division is so weird. Like, there's a few guys that are above the rest that prove to be elite, that are naturally heavyweights and that are big and that are good at that weight class. And obviously, I don't think Andre Ward has any business fighting those guys. And I'm going to tell you those guys. Obviously, Anthony Joshua, Klitschko, if he's still fighting. Even Dillian White. I don't know why I put his name in there, but he's just relevant in the game right now. Luis Ortiz would destroy him. Joseph Parker, I think, would destroy him. And even Deontay Wilder, I think, naturally bigger man. I just think the size would be too much, and I think that power will get to him. But with someone like Tony Bellew, who naturally is maybe even a smaller man if he was in shape than Andre Ward, because Andre Ward, I don't know how the hell he kept making 168, because he's, I don't know, like 6'1", and he's definitely a muscular fighter. So I do see Andre Ward fighting maybe one or two more times, and that's going to be at a heavyweight division, and I think that's going to make him money. But as far as him being the pound for pound best fighter in the world, here's the thing: I don't really necessarily have a problem with people saying that, but it is. But those same people have to admit that it's disappointing that the best fighter on earth wins this way, right? He wins this way. It's disappointing, man. I don't. I mean, this is not the Floyd. I mean, regardless, he's not. He's not. When we look back on history, he's not going to be in the same category as a Manny Pacquiao or obviously a Floyd Mayweather. I think Floyd Mayweather is a much more complete fighter. I know at times he fought dirty, but I think he also displayed a lot more ability to adjust in a fight. It just is more aesthetically pleasing to me, right? And obviously Manny Pacquiao lost to Floyd Mayweather, but if you want to take that away, he's obviously one of the best fighters of this era. Like I said, I don't have a problem with people saying pound for pound. I just don't like the dishonesty about that win. Like it doesn't matter because your guy won if a guy is landing low blows, and it's just dishonest. And I don't really. I don't really find it that honorable to brag about winning on low blows. That's pretty much my summary. But in summary, I'll say this again: that Kovalev kind of showed that he didn't do the right thing, and he proved that he's not a great fighter. But Andre Ward did win a fight that he finished Kovalev on low blows. Was it his fault? I don't know. But the referee should have done his job. But like I said, Kovalev knew about that already, so he should have done the right thing. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to my channel. Please continue to comment and support, and I will try to improve and do new things and make your viewing, listening experience better. Thank you guys.